just get chat pulled up here. Cool. Okay. So I haven't done TradingView in a few days. I think Monday was the last day I did this. Let me double check. What was the last day I did this? The 10th. Okay, cool. So what's the 10th? 10th, yeah, Monday. What's up, Karma? How you doing, buddy? Okay, so I'm gonna go through today's trades. I didn't trade this morning. I traded last night. So I came into the market, said, good morning. We had PPI come in below expectations, had a nice pickup from it. 29,900 is still acting as resistance, but it looks like we will break it. Head towards 30,050 today. 29,800 to 29,820 held nicely as support in the overnight. If we come down there again, can look to play longs off that area, mostly looking for a breakout from 29,920 today. So I was looking for those breakout conditions, CPI in line, PPI under, and that's exactly what we got. So, you know, on live, I was telling everyone along this, still more room to the upside, would not short this. 30,160 is the next target for upside. We just hit 30,050 from pre-market plan. Pulls are higher as well. So Skylit showing there's pulls up to 779. 78.05, 78.15. I think 78.15 was where we topped out on ES. A lot of negative gamma above on QQQ as well. So when we hit this 728 and started tapping into 729, next clear move is up to 731. 30,250 is going to be where I would expect for the high to be today. And if you go look, where did we top out at? 30,265. So off by about 15 points there. Pretty solid overall though. And then I said more exposure showing up to the upside. 30,310 is a stretch target. So that's only if we continue to break out. That's where I'd be looking for. And then I said, can look for longs again if we pull back down to 30,150. The reasoning for that is we have this node. It was 731. 731 was the node I was looking for us to bounce off of. There's 30,250. Hope y'all cut some of this. Decent area for shorts on NQ. So this was right here. So I called this out right here, around 30,240s. This was a clean little short, really low risk. Could have just taken that down. Should have been a free trade. Would look for 30,150. If you took, should be a free trade. It didn't get all the way down there. It got down to 30,180. But we did get that pop end of day to the downside. We hit 30,145. So off about 5 points on that target there. And then should be break even or stops in profit. If we flush through 30,150, can look for a break of 30,100 and a retest of 30,020. So going into tonight really quick, I would look for a retest of that 30,000 area if we start selling. But to me, this looks like we just continue to break higher. Like I wouldn't fade this, especially when the sell move here, like you didn't even retrace that deep. I think you got to what, 382. So this is showing you strength here. So you have a dip to 382, then you had another pullback here, went and broke the highs, and then you didn't even get a dip back down towards those lows, back down towards that New York VWAP or overnight VWAP. So really strong move today. I just look for continuation plays. I wouldn't really try to find a spot to short this at. If you're looking higher time frames as well, like if you look up on the daily, like this looks like we're just like, look at this hammer, bro. Like this is just going to cruise through all this. Like all this is resistance, but I wouldn't really expect us to slow down until we get to 30,700s. You dodged a bullet today, Baron? Why, bro? Today was super clean. We just had a very clean breakout. Like I was telling people to long this at like 30,000 when we broke out. And then just hold it all the way up. Like Mick was trading next to me and she held a trade for 200 points. So today was super clean, bro. I saw it pretty well. And then last night, the reason I didn't trade today was so came into overnight session, would like to see GC hold this area and head back towards COMEX VWAP at 44.80. Need to see a reclaim of 44.65 before I try it. I did end up trying this before that reclaim. NQ in an awkward spot. Would like to see a reclaim of 29,840 for longs back towards 29,900, then 30K. Looks like we might retest 29,760. We didn't do that. Trying it here on GC, stop at the low. So essentially the reason I'm longing this in here is GC has a really clean stat in Asia session where New York high or New York low will sweep about 80% of the time. So the reason I set my stop at this New York low is if it's going to go and sweep that, like then I don't want to be looking for longs anyway for the most part. I'm using 2 minis on 150K, so size accordingly. So 3.5 point stop, 4 point stop here. For a 20-point gain, it's like a 5-to-1 RR. This looked really good. This was ripping up. Manage how you want. Like, this was a very clean trade. Just absolutely no drawdown pretty much, and just ripped all the way up. So I took this on a 150K. I also took this on my 250K Top Step Combine. I don't know if these are still available, but I'm 5K off passing this. So this was the one trade I took on it yesterday. I just used 25 micros in here. Just held this all the way up. And then on stream last night, I did end up trying to short GC, and I actually did have the high. I'm also in a long on a paper trade here, so ignore that. But I tried shorting this right here initially. I got stopped for, I believe, $1,000, and then I shorted up here again at this 45.05 area, and I cut the trade, but that ended up being like the high. Took the short, but got out break even at the pop end of day. How many freedom accounts can you buy? I think you can have 5, bro. I've seen people with 5 stacks, so you can get up to 5 of them. And then let me check Tuesday and Wednesday. So I need 8.11. Okay. Trying to pre-market short here. Looks decent. So this was a really clean pre-market short on NQ here. Pretty much no drawdown. I was risking less than 20 points here. I should have held this. I really should have held this. So this did end up flushing like a lot more than me just taking this off here. I should have just held that. Bouncing right off 773 on SPY. Need to hold here. This ended up breaking through. Should head towards 726 on QQQ today. 29,950. Need to clear 722. We couldn't clear this, so that capped upside. Failed to clear 722, cutting the long idea. And then I did end up longing at this 710 area because we had failed. I believe this was failed selling below IB low. Or maybe I just got stopped on this. I did get stopped on this, I think. And then Wednesday, or this is Tuesday night, I guess. NQ looks cooked. GC looks decent for a rally back to 44.65. Just bounced off value area low from today and reclaiming VWAP. Trying this. So 2 minis, again, 4 points for the stop. Stop and profit. Trailed. This was really clean. I did end up getting trailed out on this, but I took the same trade again, just on continuation. Like this trailed me out here. I ended up getting back in here and just taking this all the way up. GM, everyone who's ready for a massive green CPI candle to start the day. CPI was in line with expectations. And then I said I wouldn't be on for AM today. First target is 30,020. Next is 30,100. ES needs to hold these lows. Ceilings rolled down, QQQ in an air pocket. So whenever you see an air pocket like this is really, like, if you're in a short already, great. If you're not in a short, then this is kind of like you stay out of this. This chop is gross. I think we go lower. We did end up going lower. We just bounced off IB low. Seller exhaustion as well. Could be a double break today. Trying along here. I got stopped on this. And then I ended up taking a second attempt on this. So I got stopped on that initial trade. You can see I lost 1,000 there. So lost 1,000 on that trade. Ended up taking it a second time. This one worked out. I didn't get full TP on this, but it was fine. Still holding. Stop is at 29,888. TP is high day. Set and forget now. How you like in Arizona? It's good, bro. Okay. And then I think the other stuff I need to go through is just like pre-market plans, that's whatever. Okay, cool. Let me get into trade review here. Let me flip over to NQ. Okay, so I need to go back here to, what, Tuesday? Yeah, let me just go back. Actually, I'll just close this. And I'll just rip this off. It's just going to be too much. Tuesday. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so let me scroll up. I need like 810, night of 810. I went through that. I went through that. Went through that. That short here, no reaction or reasoning, just momentum. Okay, so we short after. Okay, so we're shorting here after this. So this, you have a strong impulse move to the downside here, Clutch. Right? Strong impulse move to the downside. You do have this wick up, and then it fails and dumps lower. Then you get a doji bar, and then you get a full reversal here. So here, like, you shouldn't try this at the 0.5, right? You shouldn't try this at the 0.5. You shouldn't try this at VWAP. What you should be waiting for is this to start to base out, and then you see how this consolidates. You get a little pop above the consolidation, and then it immediately rejects. That's your signal to enter here. So this is where you want to be entering at, like this 29,780 area, and taking this down. Shit entry, but enter on the 50 EMA on the 1 minute. Got out for break even because I didn't like the reaction I saw from sellers. Okay, yeah, this was just chop. Trying to long off this wick on New York VWAP. Okay, that's not a bad entry location. Went break even on it. Okay, so when this is popping out of this consolidation, if you're long here, right, you're long here, you need to trail up here, right? You should be trailed on this wick. Then at least you secure some profit. Took this based on IB, targeted the lows. Okay, very clean, Naveen. So exactly what I just said on this consolidation pop-up. Like, this is a great entry. Very clean. You're trading 75 micros. That's crazy. 60 micros. Okay, so just taking this towards IB. What I would say here is when you hit this IB low, right? When you hit this IB low, you know that this is your high probability exit, right? So if you're getting out here at this 634 area, that's where you could trim half there, right? Trim half at this IB low, and then look for this next extension, 0.3 to the 0.5. That's typically where I like to target. So you could have trimmed half at this 634 area, which that's where you got out anyway. And then you can look for those extensions if there's still momentum behind the play. Clean trade though. 3 trades today, 3 L's. First trade was on my eval after we opened up. We were in positive GEX. Rallies get shorted into. So I was a bit waiting on my hands, and we ended up tapping a GEX level line with real-time value area high. So after we held it with CBD, I ended up taking shorts targeting real-time value area low next to equal lows after getting chopped around. Tightened my stop after we kept holding it and got taken out. Second trade was the one I waited the most for. We broke 772.3, and we were in heavy negative GEX. And more puts came in, and deep charts that level we broke. We aligned with weekly TPO, so we retraced in with CBD and instantly rejected. That's where I entered and got stopped, and it ended up hitting my target of 770. Last trade, that was rejection off 771.4, which was GEX 4. Okay. So first trade, I need to hop over to ES on this. Okay, so this is Tuesday. Okay, so this is really choppy. ES was really choppy this day. So you're shorting this. Where's this short at? Is this Tuesday? Yeah, this should be Tuesday. So you're shorting this 7.7. Okay, so you're shorting this in here, right? This is fine to take this short in here, but look at your stop, bro. Like, you're saying that this was choppy, but if you look at the 5 minute, it's not that bad, honestly. Like, if you're on the 5 minute, this is why, like, the 1 minute's tricky. Because if you're on the 5 minute, right, okay, you have 3 candles, and then it follows through. Where you're trading at, this is, or actually maybe it's in here in this consolidation area. That's what it looks like. It looks more so like this consolidation area. So even if you're short here, right, just have your stop above this, like back into the IB. So if you're looking at the IB, right, you're looking at the IB and you're seeing, okay, we hit, this 0.4 extension, right? And you get short here, have your stop back inside this IB, and then just look to take this down towards like that -1. Because this isn't a bad location to get short. It's just like, you can even set and forget this. Another thing you can do is you can say, okay, well, as long as we hold inside these standard deviation bands, because look at this, right? ES trades really nicely with standard deviation bands. So if you're short in here at the 67 area, just have your stop above that first standard deviation band, right? At 71 or 73. I'd have it at 73. But ES trades really nicely with standard deviation bands. So not a bad location to short. It's the right idea. Okay. This isn't a bad location. This one's not bad either. But like you were already in the short here. So this is more so like where you'd be trailing to. Same thing here. It's just your stop's too tight, bro. Your stop's too tight. You're not giving your trades enough room to breathe. Okay. Yesterday, trade longing off of CPI momentum. Trade longing off CPI momentum. Okay, so this was yesterday. Okay. So this is just cooked, bro. Like when you see this here, when you see this CPI candle come out like this is a terrible CPI candle, awful CPI candle. So if you want to long off the CPI momentum, you want to get long in this base here. Like longing in this base is perfectly fine. But here where this is just like, this is super choppy and the range is super wide, like you're getting, like this is a 100.5 minute candle, bro. Sit on the sidelines, just wait it out. And this continues to just chop around, right? So like this isn't worth taking in my opinion. Also, if you're trading IB off IB, like you should be shorting this. You should be looking to short this because what happens? You break this IB low. You break this IB low, you should short this here at 920s. So if you look at this, right? If you look at this, what's this VWAP tell you? Nothing. So don't use this VWAP, right? Like if your VWAP is flat like this, do not use it. There's no reason to use your VWAP if it's sitting flat like that. When this breaks IB low, and then you have this upper wick here, right? If I'm looking to short this, okay, you just broke IB low. X here, I can short this up here. Even if I'm looking at this from just a price action standpoint, you're at the top of consolidation. If I'm trying to take a short in consolidation, I want to be at the top. If I'm trying to take a long consolidation, I want to be at the bottom. So here, like if I'm taking the short here, where do I want to target? That 0.2, bro. Down to that 0.2. Here, this long, if you're trying to get long in here, like the only real area I would be looking to get long is like even here, like this is just brutal to try to long this. Okay, and then you shorted at 80s. Okay, so you did mark out this trade, right? You did mark out this trade. Now we're shorting this at 80s, right? As this comes back up to that VWAP. This is your tell. This is your tell not to short this clutch. You see how there's two candles down, they're aggressive, and then one candle completely encapsulates it? This is your tell, like, okay, I should wait on the short. Because you do get that end of day short here, right? You do get that end of day short, but when you get this aggressive of a dip that gets bought up immediately, what does that tell you? It tells you that sellers are not getting rewarded. So just a little misread there. Orb. This week, I've been testing a variation of orb that has been working well for me, using 30-point range with 101R. This orb is based off 915 to 930 opening range. Additionally, price was trading below 10 EMA. Okay, so still using those EMAs and VWAP. Nice. Okay, yeah, you're following EMAs, VWAP, and then you're using this orb. I think this is fine. You should just tighten this up, in my opinion. Like if you're trading this 1-to-1, great. But like if this is down here, this close to your TP, you should at least be break even on that. I know it's a practice account, but still. Or began with same confluences. Cool. So like when you're getting these strong moves, since this is the 1 minute, like I wouldn't really tighten this up. Maybe you just cut like the risk in half, so you move this to like negative 300. But yeah, that's clean. If that's working well, keep doing it. Looking for continuation off this 1 minute 50 EMA. 5 minute 10 EMA is looking good so far. So this was today. So let's look at this. Okay, so you get in at this consolidation base. Not a bad area to get long at, right? You're in at 208. Okay, decent entry. A lot of what I'm seeing, Clutch, is your management is just getting cooked. Because like in this market condition, right, what ends up happening? Buyers got absorbed here, but we're still holding. If we fail here, I'm looking for longs at VWAP or 382. Okay, so like you have this wick out, right, and then it starts steady climbing. Looks like buyers are stepping in this area. I'm looking for this area to get defended by them and hold. IB is already set bullish and this trend is strong, so I'm expecting dips to be shallow. Okay, so here, this is where you go break even, right? You either want to go break even or you at least want to tighten this. Tighten this to where this just failed to break down at. Tighten it to 194. Then your risk is what? If you're at 194, you have 15 points of risk. So you're risking 150 bucks. So you cut risk by 100 bucks there. Still looking for that breakout play. That's fine. Okay, now when you're here and you see this wick form, you can go break even here. You can go break even or tighten it up to this wick, right? You're up 20 points, that's fine. Should have gotten out when multiple attempts from buyers kept getting absorbed. I think you should have just trailed this better. Like this management sucks, right? Line reaction, TBH looking for a bounce here. Okay, so we're longing this at 146. That's fine. That's a decent area to look for the long. I did call out 150 for longs, but you said I want to wait for this to come to VWAP and 382. Longs at VWAP or 382. Are we looking at the same area, bro? 382 is right here. You would have bottom ticked. So you have the right idea. It's just like your timing was off. A little early, but looks good so far. Blind reaction. When you're buying into this aggressive of a down move, your management needs to be good. Failed push here for buyers. Stop there. Hit DLL before price ended up bouncing out 0.3 and running to TB. Early on 2 trades right direction. Okay, yeah, it's like this was management wise, bro. Trade 2, long off New York VWAP, plus profitable GEX1, 1MNQ, 2.1 RR. Steep uptrend, pulling back into IB, looking for continuation. Location, VWAP, GEX1, 382. Confirmation, absorption, trap sellers, more absorption. Delta flip, positive aggression, afterthoughts. Exit into strength on 1 minute. Been using 1 minute for entries and I like it. If I have context for where price should go, and then I should trail on 3 or 5 minutes. Should have taken this trade without order flow, but it's inside the order flow confirmation. Okay, cool. Should have held that bitch. Okay, so this was from the live stream. I called out this long here. And then this was like, I said, like, if you're long on this, like, you should be, like, trailed at 190. So I get that. So you longed this at 119, Luke, right? You need to get used to NASDAQ. Like, it moves very quick. So, yeah, you hit 30 points. Great. You can take a re-entry here. If this still looks good, you can take a re-entry here when it dips down to this, like, 130, 140 area and have your stop at 115. So you've already captured, here you've captured 37 points. Cool. If you can get an entry at 140s and risk 20 points, well, you're still up 15 points at the end of the day, right? And then just look for that continuation. But good trade here. Good trade. Okay, yeah, you have this delta flip. Like this negative, immediate flip into positive. Positive, positive, strong positives there. New York 813, this morning I also tried the same strategy model I've been running all week. Today was kind of automatic, didn't analyze the context, enter without confluences. Price never went below VWAP. Basically never went below it since the Asia session. So it was a trade without confirmation, automatic. Red circles represent the VWAP rejections at the moment. Okay, so we're shorting this. The other thing you have to consider is there was a news event, right? So when you have a news event like PPI, you want to know what the impact is. PPI was under expectations. So should you really expect this to, should you really expect to short this? No. No, you should not. So like the initial PPI candle, it's mixed here, right? It's just mixed, but then it doesn't break down. So you should just be looking to long this. All right. That's funny, bro. But yeah, that's trade review, guys. What I'm looking at for tonight, I'll give you guys a little sauce. Maybe I stream tonight. Let's see. Actually, I need to get rid of this VWAP. Or no, it's this VWAP. Okay, so what I'm looking at for tonight is continuation on NQ. Probably up towards that 30,300 area, 30,310. That's where I'd be looking for it. And then GC, I'd like to see if we bounce here, because I am in a paper long here. This is just a paper trade, so I'm just like fucking around with big size. So if you go up on the daily, so GC did just reject this 4,500 area, right? We've rejected this a couple times. Rejected it here, rejected it here, rejected it here. Okay. Now we've pulled back down to this 4,400 area where you've got this high time frame POC at. So what I would like to see is this 4,400 area hold and for us to rally back up, because that inflation number is still positive for gold. Because once you get rate cuts, then gold starts to trend higher as well. If you look at a lower time frame volume profile as well, I mean, I guess I would call this middle time frame profile. You have your, and let me turn this one off for a second. Okay, so you have your value area high down at 43.17. There is this high volume node in here, right at 4,400. So if it slips off this area, 43.90s, then I would expect us to pull back down towards this like 43.10. But I'm expecting this area to defend and for us to continue higher. I'd like to see my next target for gold is this 47.50 area, our value area high from this very high time frame profile. If you're looking at a lower time frame, go on the 1 hour. All right, and let me get rid of some of these. Go on the 1 hour, and you're looking at this. How I would anchor this is I'd be looking for. Okay, so we have the lows here. I'd be looking at, this is the profile I would take from last Wednesday. So you do have this value area low down at 43.78. We have lost this POC, so if we can't move back towards that 44.50 area, bad news for bulls, but it does look like we might base out in this 4,400 area and then continue higher. So similar play to what I took last night. It's just we're a little bit lower in the range. I'd just be cautious here if you guys are looking for those longs, because this could fail very quickly. If we go and sweep out this New York low, I wouldn't look to long this till you're in this like 43.80 to 43.60 area. But if it does dip down into that region, then that's where I'd be looking to take the longs on GC. If we open up and immediately we start trending with VWAP, then I want to just play long to take out all of these sell side imbalances, because you've built all these stacked imbalances from last night. I'd just like to see us punch through all these and head back up towards 4,500 and get that clean breakout, because it's a major level. If you're looking at COMEX VWAP for today, COMEX VWAP for today is sitting at 44.30 about. So if we can get above 44.30, then we should hold that area of support and then just continue back towards the upside. But yeah. Okay. That is way too loud. No. Okay. All right. Maybe you didn't mean to send that.